grisly reaper mowing? Yes, the danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing.
Hello, co-stars. I'm Ben Sweetwood. Welcome back to another episode of Generation Films. Today, we're going to be doing something different from our usual lists, as we want to provide you with a variety of content on this channel. We are going to be examining a long-held fan conspiracy theory from the 1971 classic film, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka has always been known as a pretty creepy character, but in like a weird uncle kind of way. Most have chalked up his peculiarness to him just being a lovable loon.
Could? Yes, I'm sure I could. I'm pretty sure I could.
But some fans believe something much more sinister was going on, that Willy Wonka was a serial-killing cannibal, and guess what? Your weird uncle might be too. So for those who don't know, the film, based on the 1964 Roald Dahl book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, tells the story of an eccentric chocolate factory owner, Willy Wonka, who shuts down his factory to the public due to spies being sent to steal his recipes. Some fans claim that this seclusion turned him mad enough to turn his factory into a death trap where he could bring the children of the community to die as revenge for his competitors stealing from him. Wonka returns to the public eye with a contest. Find one of 5 golden tickets in his candy bar wrappers and win a tour of the factory and free chocolate for life. So the dude is offering children candy along with a lifetime of health issues in order to get them to come to his secluded factory. Not a great start. So 5 children, 4 spoiled brats, and 1 poor chap named Charlie find the tickets and each invite a parent or grandparent to chaperone them on the tour.
But suddenly half the world is mine. What an amazing thing, 'cause I've got a golden ticket. It's ours, Charlie.
It's an amusement park full of magical colors, candy, and little orange slave men. Wonka starts the tour by having the children sign waivers that release him from liability in case of an accident.
Violet, you first. Sign here.
Disconcerting, but okay. So the fan conspiracy theory begins with the gluttonous Augustus Gloop. As the tour proceeds, Augustus decides, without permission, to drink from the chocolate river. Willy Wonka warns him to stop, but not very assertively, and only makes a half-hearted attempt to get over to him in a hurry. When he does reach the plump boy, Augustus falls in, and Wonka makes no effort to help or rescue him. Actually, he shows no regard for the boy whatsoever. He only seems to be worried about the chocolate becoming contaminated.
My chocolate! My beautiful chocolate!
As the boy begins to drown, Wonka even seems entertained, pulling out some candy to munch on, a clear sign of a psychopath. Wonka revels in, almost is pleasured by Augustus's pain as he is sucked up through a pipe, which is too small for him to fit in comfortably, but big enough to squeeze him through in agony. In any case, the pipe is certainly larger than necessary for a chocolate river. Finally, he shoots up through the pipe and his mom freaks out.
Have a gun?
Into marshmallows in 5 seconds.
Wonka consoles her that the boy is on his way to the fudge room, but calmly acknowledges there's a chance that he can end up in the boiler. His mother is led off, presumably to the fudge room, and neither her nor her boy are seen or heard from for the rest of the movie. The Oompa Loompas then sing an ominous song that warns about the consequences of gluttony.
What do you get when you guzzle down sweets?
Eating as much as an elephant eats.
How did they know to have such a song prepared? And why would they sing it? Is Willy Wonka an affable but eccentric chocolate factory owner? Or is he Jigsaw? Following Augustus and his mother's disappearance, a boat appears, and the group boards it and heads through a tunnel. But if you pay close attention, you can clearly see that the boat has no open seats, meaning that Wonka had planned to have 2 less people on board at this point of the tour. Unless, of course, we are to believe that Wonka has multiple different boats with multiple numbers of seats on them, and he simply selects which boat to use based on how many people are on the tour at any given time. Similarly, later when there is only 4 people left, 2 kids with an older family member each, the group rides in the Wonka Wash car, which has only room for 4. Another interesting foresight that Wonka had. In the inventing room, where everyone gets an everlasting gobstopper, Wonka introduces a special chewing gum that he has in the works that is 3-course dinner flavored. The gum isn't ready for human consumption, so it probably wasn't smart to tell the children
It's the most amazing, fabulous, sensational gum in the whole world.
if he didn't want them to try and taste it. Sure enough, when ill-mannered Violet Beauregard grabs the gum from Wonka's hand, he doesn't make any physical effort to stop her. He simply says,
I wouldn't do that. I really wouldn't.
He knows what the consequences could be, and yet he doesn't seem worried in the slightest. As she chews it, he overtly shows his lack of concern, saying uninspired,
Stop. Don't.
After the first few meal flavors, dessert comes. It's blueberry pie and cream, and Violet turns blue and inflates. This is no surprise to Wonka. He even says,
It happens every time. They all become blueberries.
Wonka then orders the Oompa Loompas to take the girl to the juicing room to be juiced before she explodes. Of course, the Oompa Loompas then follow with another pre-prepared song, this one about bad manners.
Oompa Loompa, Oompa-dee-da, given good manners, you will go far.
It seems then that Wonka purposely waved the gum in the children's faces, hoping one of them would take it, eat it, and inflate, and thus the child's juices could be used for further candy production. This explains the television room the group visits later. Violent, angry, blabbermouth rascal Mike TV,
And then the photographs are split up into millions of tiny pieces, and they go whizzing through the air down to your TV set where they're all put together again in the right order.
uses Wonka vision to teleport himself into miniature size. Perhaps this is a creation Wonka uses to shrink children in order to more easily process them for their juices and flavors. In response to what happens to Mike, the psychotic midgets then sing about the pitfalls of greed. Before Mike meets his fate, however, spoiled, rotten, well-to-do Veruca Salt meets hers in the golden eggs room. She demands a golden goose from her father, who asks Wonka for a price. Good old Will turns them down, and Veruca throws a tantrum, running about and kicking things over. Eventually, she falls through a chute for bad eggs, once again to no concern or surprise of Wonka's.
She was a bad egg.
Like the pipe by the chocolate river that took Augustus earlier, the egg chute seems just perfect for transporting children through the factory. And this chute, as Wonka explains, leads to the furnace. The whole building is a carefully constructed death trap for children. The little orange Pokemon dudes then follow with a song warning against being spoiled. So, still not buying into this fan theory? Well, we're talking about the 1971 film here. But there's reportedly a lost chapter to Wonka's original book entitled Spotty Powder. In the chapter, the group on tour visits a room where spotty powder is made, a substance that looks and tastes like sugar but causes bright red spots on one's face that can be used to get out of school. Miranda Piker, a snobbish goody two-shoes with a school headmaster for a father, feels indignant that the spotty powder exists to help children dodge school. She thus goes down to the cellar with her father to smash the machine that makes it. Screams are heard from below, and Miranda's mother frantically accuses Willy Wonka of grinding her husband and daughter into powder, to which he responds, "Of course, that's part of the recipe." Though he later claims he was only joking, the Oompa Loompas close the scene out with a song about grinding Miranda into the candy powder and feeding it to her classmates. See for yourself. Link in the description. So if Wonka's a killer, then how does one explain Charlie and his grandfather surviving the factory? Well, there's a couple explanations. First, Wonka tried to kill them. Charlie and his grandfather had disobeyed Wonka by drinking the fizzy lifting drinks, which made them float upwards, and they were almost killed by a metal fan on the ceiling, but at the last moment they figure out how to escape by excessive belching.
Attaboy!
When Charlie and his grandfather ask for the prize at the end of the tour, Wonka's rage is on full display, and he might still have been thinking about killing them. But Charlie gives back the everlasting gobstopper rather than handing it to Wonka's rival Slugworth, who is actually working for Wonka to test the kids. So he demonstrates morality, which convinces Wonka to let them go free. The second theory is that Charlie is just a poor boy and someone who, if needed, Wonka can pin his crimes on. That's why, rather than giving free chocolate to Charlie for life, he gifts him the entire factory. Along with the wonderful candy machines inside the factory, he'll inherit the bodies below. Lastly, there's just really no point in turning Charlie into candy. If you ask me, he doesn't really look that appetizing compared to the other children on the tour. And I really don't think he seems that delicious at all when you compare him to the selection of people in the general public. Well, that's all the time we have for you today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We certainly have no consensus on whether this fan theory is legitimate or not, but please let us know what you think down below. And remember, it doesn't matter whether you choose to eat people or not. It's how you do it that counts. And don't forget, live life to the fullest, because sequels usually suck. Adios, amigos.
There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free.